Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis as we do each and every day. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Keiser, Bitcoin is an IQ test and Trump failed. This is off the back of Trump launching his own coin. We'll also be discussing crypto companies paid $19 billion in settlements to U.S. regulators in 2024, which is pretty wild. We'll also be discussing the latest with convicted FTX executive Ryan Salame, officially in prison custody, as well as the SEC taking wrong approach to regulating crypto industry as Gary Gensler directs the agency agenda, according to their own commissioner. We'll also be discussing Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki predicts an everything crash of Bitcoin potentially going down to 5,000 per coin before exploding to $250,000 per coin. We'll also be discussing the latest from the gig of Chad. Michael Saylor, as MicroStrategy aims to be a Bitcoin bank with $1 trillion valuation. That's right. They're currently worth roughly $16 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they're planning big moves ahead. I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. If you're new to the channel, important to smash the likes. The direct YouTube link is cryptonewsalerts.net. Then go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell icon. Turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. Today is pod episode number 1786. I'm your host, JV. It's Sunday, October 13th, 2024. Market pulled back a little, normal correction, maintaining above 62,600. And as we can see here on Coin360, we're above 62,700. We have the majority of the market correcting and in the red. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, current crypto market cap sits at $2.18 trillion. Bitcoin market cap sits at $1.238 trillion, and we got roughly 45 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours of the market, and the Bitcoin dominance still on the climb at 56.8%, with the Ether dominance all the way down to 13.5%. Do you think that trend will likely continue with the Bitcoin dom climbing as the ETH dominance continues to decline? Let me know your thoughts. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got Celestia leading the pack, up 11%, followed by Athena, up 7%, followed by Brett, up 6%. And which alts are you bullish on for the bull? Let me know. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective on the daily. Safe to say, unfortunately, 90% of the market correcting and in the red. And zooming out on the monthly, looks better here. 90% of the market, maybe more realistically 80% or 75% in the green, with some very impressive, looks like meme coins. Nero's up 5,700%, SPX up 4,800%. Good Lord. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index today, we're dead slab in the middle with a 50, which is neutral. Yesterday, 49. Last week, a 50. And last month, a 32 in fear. And checking out time chain calendar. We have 184,487 blocks yet to go until the next halving in 2028. That will obviously more than likely be around April. And we're currently on block 865,513. And you can currently exchange $1 for 1,596 Satoshis, so roughly 1,600 sats per US dollar. You know what I mean? So there you go, Yeah, this is the 1 hour chart. This is live and in the flesh, live charts. 62,600 via Coinbase right now. We do have some targets. One is a bear target at $61,100. And we'll zoom out from here. We'll check out the 4 hour chart. The 4 hour chart shows us we do have, we're kind of in the middle of two massive gapped targets. One specifically a bull target at 81.3 and one a bear target all the way at 41. We're dead in the middle right now, just above 63, 62-ish actually at this moment. And zooming out from there, we'll check out the 1 day chart. Live action, you can see there's a rising wedge formation, definitely a bullish sign, but we do have some bear targets. We do have one at 47.7 and we do have one all the way at 41.4. And zooming out from the daily, we'll check out the weekly, and that's weekly, W-E-E-K-L-Y, not W-E-A-K. So don't get it twisted. And we do have the bullish cup and handle target sitting at 124,000, which I personally believe is still in play for Q4 here in 2024. We are in Q4 as of October, and tomorrow we're approaching the second half of the month. We're getting close, actually. This is Halloween month, so I think there's 31 days in the month of October, but we're getting close, at 2 days away from the second half of the month when we're typically going on some parabolic rallies. And zooming out from there, we'll check out the 1 month. You're going to notice a lot of sideways trading action. Past 7 months, we're about, to rip, in my opinion, in Q4. So I think we continue the bullish momentum. But do let me know your thoughts of where the price action will likely go next from here. And I also want to share something regarding Trump launching this token and Max's feedback to it before we dive actually any deeper. Let me pull up some of the recent tweets from Max Keiser. He wrote here, Bitcoin is an IQ test. Trump failed. He also wrote another tweet, typical shitcoiner requests make everything much worse. Bitcoin fixes the problem. Shitcoins make it worse. Bitcoin is an IQ test. Trump failed. This was off the back of Zero Hedge headline. Trump campaign requests military aircraft with anti-missile capabilities amid Iran threat. And the other headline he wrote off the back of, anyone else find it odd that MSN isn't really attacking Trump for launching an ICO? They are basically ignoring the story altogether. But nonetheless, that's the feedback from the high priest. Let me know your thoughts with all that. Let's continue with the news and the headlines. This headline reads, crypto companies paid $19 billion in settlements to U.S. regulators in 2024. Pretty wild. U.S. regulators received over $19 billion in lawsuit settlements from crypto companies thus far this year, representing almost 2/3 of all settlements to date. Data in an October 9th report from CoinGecko shows bankrupt crypto exchange FTX and affiliated traded firm Alameda are responsible for most of the funds. Thank Gary Gensler for that one. It was under his watch, obviously. With $12.7 billion paid to the CFTC in an August settlement, and across 8 settlements in 2024, regulators have netted 78% more than in 2023, which only saw less than $11 billion paid. However, that is an 8,327% uptick in settlement values compared to 2022. And what do you think they do with all that money? They probably just hire more lawyers and continue to attack the industry, if I was to guess. But you can see the settlements here from 2019 to 2024. In 2019, there was only one for a total of $24 million. In 2020, there was two, $1.2 billion. 2020, four for $169 million. 2022, there was only two for $129 million. Now look at the jump from 2022 to 2023. This is where things get crazy. There was 8 settlements for $10.8 billion. And then this year already $19.4 billion from 8 settlements. Do you see a trend here? It is likely to continue to go up. It's called Regulation by Enforcement, Operation Choke Point 2.0, and thank Gary Gensler for that one. The total settlement amounts included in forfeiture, disgorgement, civil penalty settlement, and prejudgment interest, but not individual lawsuits against executives. According to CoinGecko research analyst Lim-Yu Kwan, the collapse of the Celsius and Terraform Labs in mid-2022 were key events that marked the shift from the crypto bull run to bear market, culminating in the FTX fall, which prompted a new wave of regulatory scrutiny. Was all that by design? Again, this was all under Gary Gensler's watch. Unacceptable, Gary. Terraform Labs is $4.5 billion settlement with the SEC regarding the algorithmic stablecoin Terra USD collapse in 2022 was the second highest settlement for the year. Genesis rounded out the top 3 for 2024 with its $2 billion settlement reached with the Office of the Attorney General in August. Genesis filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in January of 2023. The year isn't over yet, and Qian thinks, given regulators' tenacity, Gary, 2024 could see a few more settlements before the clock strikes midnight on December 31st. I would agree with that. Quoting them here, even with a few months left of the year, 2024 had already recorded a 79% increase in settlement value compared to 2023. Given that U.S. regulators show no signs of slowing down, crypto industry scrutiny, 2024 may potentially be on track to record more lawsuit settlements than last year. It seems to be that way. I mean, look at this. U.S. regulators reached $19 billion in top settlements thus far this year, and you can see most of it coming from FTX and Alameda, followed by Celsius, followed by Terraform Labs, followed by Binance, Genesis, and Voyager. Then Telegram, Coinbase, BlockFi, BitMEX, Abracadabra, Silvergate, Gemini, Nexo, etc. Now, Qian also said one scalp claimed in 2023 was a particular note because it was the only company still operating when a settlement had been reached. Quoting her here, the Binance settlement is a landmark win for the U.S. regulators by being the only billion-dollar settlement given to an operating crypto company thus far. And I think that was like 4-point-something billion, which went to the DOJ and then hundreds of millions to the SEC. And in November of 2023, Binance and its former CEO, CZ, agreed to plead guilty to several charges, including anti-money laundering and to resolve lawsuits within multiple U.S. regulators. And also, yeah, it's wild. He just recently got released from prison. And since 2019, U.S. regulators collected $32 billion in settlements. Good Lord. So where's all that $32 billion go, yo? Hopefully not in Gary Gensler's and his goons like Senator Warren's and the Biden administrator bank accounts. But what do I know? You know what I mean? Big failure for the SEC. So it's like their front is, we're here to protect the investors. And then what do? They cripple the investors. They don't protect nobody. If they were there to protect you, FTX would have never happened. How many meetings behind closed doors did the chairman of the SEC have with Scam Bankman-Fried? And there was also some collusion. The parents, a lot of very sus things between Caroline Ellison and her parents and teachers and MIT. And Gary's from MIT. I mean, a lot of things seem very sus, as the kids would say. Next headline is the latest with Ryan Salame, FTX executive. Headline here reads, convicted FTX exec Ryan Salame is officially in prison custody. Whoa. Yeah, that's right. It's official. He was sentenced to 90 months in prison for his role in the 2022 FTX collapse after pleading guilty to operating an unregulated money transmitting business and campaign finance charges in 2023. Now, what's interesting, it seems every executive pleaded guilty, including Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang and all them. The only one who pleaded not guilty was con artist Scam Bankman-Fried, and he got sentenced to 25 years in the slammer. The former FTX executive attempted to delay his October 11th surrender date until December 7th. Hey, it was worth a shot, citing ongoing medical treatment for a dog bite. Hey, I'd let a dog bite me too to avoid prison. A motion strongly opposed by prosecutors and denied by Judge Lewis Kaplan in the October 10th ruling. Now, despite multiple attempts by Salame to delay the start of the prison sentence, the former FTX exec claimed to be relatively unfazed by the 7.5-year detainment. Salame jokingly changed his Twitter profile. I think we call it X now, don't we? And updated his LinkedIn. People still use LinkedIn? Interesting. To reflect, I've never used it, that he was now a prison inmate at the Cucumber Correctional Institution in Maryland. Cumberland. I don't know why I say cucumber. I'm thinking Bankman-Fried with his cucumbers. But anyways, he thinks it's funny. Look at this. 7.5-year prison sentence. Former free man. U.S. Republican mega donor. I guess, does he mean MAGA or mega? I don't know. CEO of FTX Digital. I definitely wouldn't have CEO of FTX on my profile any longer. Circle Trade. I don't even know what that is. And CPA, not a lawyer. Obviously. Now, here's the Laura Shin interview revealing all. Now, Laura's the infamous one who got famous from Michael Saylor's interview where he's like, it's going up forever, Laura. Unchained Pod host Laura Shin interviewed Salame shortly before the start of the sentence in an episode that dropped on the day he submitted himself to the prison authorities. And when asked about his withdrawal of nearly $600,000 in crypto amid the collapse of the FTX exchange, the former exec told Shin, this was not my brightest moment, and explained that his entire net worth was in FTX. Salame indicated that he needed the funds to cover the legal expenses, but acknowledged that he should not have withdrawn the money. Moreover, Salame claimed that at least one of those withdrawals was never spent and forfeited to the Department of Justice several weeks before the Unchained Pod episode aired. The former exec also revealed plans to obtain a law degree during the interview. Salame said that he had no interest in practicing law as a career, but sought to gain proficiency in the law to represent himself. Well, he has a lot of free time in prison over the next 7 years, so it only makes sense to read some of those law books, arguing that the previous legal counsel and advice provided was insufficient and caused his felony convictions. I don't think the legal counsel in my opinion, caused the felony convictions. I think his crimes committed as an executive for FTX caused the felony convictions, and he must have not have been happy with his counsel. And a lot of people that go to jail aren't happy with their counsel. But nonetheless, that's just my 2 Satoshis. Next headline, let's discuss everyone's favorite chairman of the SEC. Gary Gensler. The headline reads, SEC taking wrong approach to regulating crypto industry as Gary directs the agency agenda, according to the commissioner. And I actually watched some of the interview with the commissioner. Shout out to the commissioner for calling that out. Got to respect that. That's right. Commissioner of the U.S. SEC says the agency is being steered in the wrong direction in terms of crypto regulation. Clear as day. In a new interview with Fox Business, I watched the interview. So again, respect to the SEC commissioner, Mark Ueda says that no Claire has influence over the overwhelming majority of the SEC employees, and that the regulatory agency is cracking down hard on digital asset industries under his guidance. Quoting him here, within the agency, our agenda is directed by the chairman, Gary Gensler, and so the staff all follow his lead. The joke we have is we have 5,000 employees at the SEC. He controls 4,995. I control 5. Seems like a problem to me. He also recommends the regulatory body create clear crypto guidelines as soon as possible. Well, what's the core or primary reason we don't have clear guidelines? Gary Gensler has weaponized the SEC. He's weaponizing crypto. Quoting him here, I won't speak towards what Gary thinks as to what his personal motivations are. We all know it's clear he's working with freaking Warren and the Biden administration to cripple crypto. He certainly has a perspective. The way I look at it, I have been with the agency for 18 years. 18 years. Done a lot of things involving regulations of securities. And the approach we're taking seems to be the wrong one. This coming directly from the commissioner. I would like to see us lay out some clear guidance, please, and interpretations of what exactly falls within and falls outside security laws. You can't even start to have a discussion unless you know what's in and what's out. And then from there, to the extent that they are within our realm, we need to think about how brokers handle these securities. Now, this is all by design. It's not a coincidence like, oh my God, there's just no clear guidelines. It's because we have no Claire Gare appointed as the chair of the SEC. This is the problem by design. It's not incompetence. It's called criminal. Do you understand that? But let's continue with the news, fam. We broke down the latest with everyone's least favorite chairman. Now let's continue. Next headline reads, Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki predicts everything will crash. Bitcoin may drop to 5,000. Now, I think that's ludicrous, but very attention-grabbing nonetheless. He's ultimately saying Bitcoin can drop all the way down to 5,000 before soaring to 250,000, which is pretty outrageous. But at the same time, let's break this down. Here we go. So yeah, Rich Dad shared his insights on the U.S. economy, gold, Bitcoin, and the market trends on social media platform X on Saturday. Stacking Saturday, that is. He pointed to gold's all-time high prices, but caution, unfortunately. Higher gold prices generally mean investors are becoming pessimistic. Many investors shift out of stocks and start buying defensive assets. So higher gold prices are not necessarily a good sign. If a major stock market crash occurs, which I am expecting, because the stock market has been high for too many years. So he's ultimately saying, how is the stock market continuing to hit all-time highs when it's all artificially propped? At the end of the day, it can't last like that forever. It can't stay in a bull trend forever. So he says this is not good news for people who do not own gold, silver, and Bitcoin, he opined. The acclaimed author then encouraged people to prepare by studying, watching CNA, joining investment clubs, and watching for post-crash bargains. Then in a few years, when another bull market rises, you'll be one of the richer, smarter investors, he foresees. And in a follow-up post, he warned the everything bubble driven by money printed during the 2008 financial crisis. He predicts the everything bubble is going to turn into the everything crash. Simply said, everything will crash, including gold, silver, and Bitcoin. He compared the situation to a catastrophe, stating that the bubble will burst like Mount what is that? Vesuvius, with the crash being detrimental for most people. He warned it could trigger a global depression, similar to one narrowly avoided in 2008. And despite the bleak outlook, Rich Dad believes those prepared will prosper. And after the everything crash that follows the everything bubble, the prepared will get really rich. I plan on being one of the prepared. I plan on becoming even richer. And I want you to become richer too. He noted, take Bitcoin, for example. Let's talk the biddy. It may crash to 5,000 a coin. Very unlikely. Then boom to 100,000 to 250,000 and higher. That part, very likely. Quoting him here, obviously, I will be buying all the Bitcoin again, as well as the other assets, at bargain basement prices, he emphasized. KISS. Keeping it super simple. The best time to get rich is coming again. He concluded by advising investors to aim for wealth, not to fall victim to the actions of the Fed and Treasury. He urged them to be patient, join investment clubs, watch CNA podcasts, and attend seminars, network with proactive individuals, distance themselves from unhelpful friendships, study, discuss, and prepare for the future. So there you go, yo. That's coming directly from Rich Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. Now for our feature story of the day. MicroStrategy aims to be a Bitcoin bank with $1 trillion valuation, according to Michael Saylor, with MicroStrategy currently sitting on roughly $16 billion worth of the biddy. As you can see here in this headline, and there's another headline that caught my eyesight. Michael Saylor delivers an impressive Bitcoin strategy insight, which everyone's speaking about right now. So let's break this baby down. And shout out to the Giga Chad, Mikey Saylor, a roll of the dice, Bitcoin on Bitcoin on Bitcoin. But anyways, MicroStrategy is positioning itself to transform how capital is preserved and transferred globally, according to a recent report by Bernstein Research. The company's outspoken co-founder, Mikey Saylor, as we call him, says the company, I'm the only one I've ever heard refer to him as Mikey Saylor, by the way, just for the record, aims to become a Bitcoin bank with a potential $1 trillion valuation. Can you see MicroStrategy becoming a Bitcoin bank valued at $1 trillion? I can see it. Let me know your thoughts. Bernstein has rated MicroStrategy as outperform with a price target of $290. And obviously their stock just broke out, hit another all-time high. And it reflects a 39% upside for the current price of $209, according to Google Finance. The report states that MicroStrategy's significant investment into the Bitcoin is a key driver behind the optimistic prediction. MicroStrategy has gained attention for its large-scale Bitcoin acquisition strategy under the guidance of Mikey Saylor, the firm's executive chair and former CEO. Since 2020, the company has accumulated 252,200 Bitcoin, worth almost $16 billion at this time, making it the largest publicly traded corporate holder of Bitcoin. And good for them. They're the first publicly traded company to put the Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and they have the largest stash. I think the only company that probably has more than them now is BlackRock, which is an asset management giant worth probably north of $11 trillion. And Employee of the Month is typically Michael Saylor or Larry Fink of BlackRock. During an event this week hosted by Bernstein, Saylor explained the rationale behind the MicroStrategy embrace of the biddy. Quoting him here, we saw Bitcoin as a big tech monetary network, he said, like Google for money or Facebook for money. MicroStrategy's broader vision is to evolve into a Bitcoin bank, Saylor said, creating capital markets instruments tied to Bitcoin that can be offered to the investors. I dig it. Quoting him again, we are in the core business of creating Bitcoin capital market instruments across equity, convertibles, fixed income, and preferred shares, according to Mikey Saylor. This approach aims to give investors exposure to the Bitcoin price movements while offering various risk-adjusted instruments. And through its securitization of the biddy, MicroStrategy has been able to leverage financial products like convertible bonds and equity to raise capital at low interest rates, then use that capital to buy more Bitcoin. And he says this is infinitely scalable, as I shared in yesterday's podcast. Let me know if you were there. Quoting him here, we are recycling capital, explains Saylor, investing in something that yields 3 times the cost of capital. The Bernstein report emphasized that MicroStrategy's innovative approach to securitizing Bitcoin has positioned the company as the leader in the space. And by creating capital market products backed by Bitcoin, the company provides investors a structured way to benefit from the Bitcoin performance. Hence why they're crushing it. And according to the report, MicroStrategy strategy gives it a competitive edge in the digital asset ecosystem. The company's ability to raise capital through debt and equity and reinvest it into Bitcoin has allowed it to capitalize on the growing acceptance of the crypto and traditional financial market. This is a speculative attack on fiat currency and a speculative attack on the central banking cartels. It's freaking genius. And now you have companies such as Metaplanet out of freaking Tokyo, Japan, following in the footsteps of Mikey Saylor, and good for them. Quoting Mikey again, "We are a misunderstood company, akin to a real estate development company, but we're buying the biddy, not real estate." Saylor remains so bullish on Bitcoin that he believes each coin will be worth millions of dollars. Facts, which is why the firm believes that it is the current strategy which will turn it into a $1 trillion company. MicroStrategy currently had a market cap of $42 billion. Only a handful of companies in the world, including Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Nvidia, currently boast a valuation of at least $1 trillion. So do you think Mikey Saylor will accomplish this with MSTR, becoming a $1 trillion valued bank? Let me know your thoughts, and I'm going to dive deeper into this next article and see if there's anything we're missing. So yeah, here's a recent tweet by Mikey Saylor. "If you want to win, you need a Bitcoin strategy." Top 10 performing stocks in the S&P 500. Look at MicroStrategy. Whoa, leading the pack up 1,620%. That sexy Bitcoin orange. Then Nvidia, 1,100% gains. We have Artista Network, 650%. Quanta Services, 542%. Eli Lilly, 509%. Howmet Aerospace, 454%. Broadcom, 428%. Marathon Oil, 365%. United Rentals, 352%. And Marathon Petroleum, 342%. And this is stock performance since August 10th of 2020 when MicroStrategy officially adopted the Bitcoin strategy. So not too shabby to be up 1,620%, leading all of the S&P 500. So long live the Giga Chad, Mikey Saylor. So in essence, MicroStrategy and Saylor's approach is simple. Just buy the Bitcoin. They don't care if it's at the bottom or the top. In fact, Michael Saylor, I actually looked this up earlier, 40 Bitcoin purchases since 2020 when they adopted Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset to put a Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And he's not slowing down. Here's the reality. Michael Saylor don't care if he purchases Bitcoin at the top, the bottom, in between, anywhere in between. He's going to continue to buy it and turn MicroStrategy into a $1 trillion Bitcoin bank. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the Giga Chad and some of his projections. And I'm going to read your comments out loud. Welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. If Bitcoin does what it has post every halving event, it will go up 2 fib levels. The current 1.14 fib equals 440 G's. The 1.236 fib equals 3 million. Let's freaking go. Chris, what it do, JV? Welcome to the stream. Welcome anyone to the stream. Welcome everyone to the stream. It's going up forever, Laura. So we got 1,500 people here, not too shabby. What we're going to do now is continue with the uncensored extended version of the pod, meaning we're going to continue on X and Rumble with the current stream, but we're going to end the YouTube because YouTube is heavily censored and JV likes to be free, uncensored, just like Bitcoin. I want to be free, just like El Salvador. I want to be free from the IMF and control of the lizard people.